Welcome. In this video, we start our adventures into AEONS End, Into the Wild. So Into the Wild contains its own narrative expedition that continues the story of the expedition in AEONS End, the New Age. You'll use the rules set forth in that booklet to start this, except we will not draw treasure cards at the end of any battles. We'll be given new ones as we open up our new packs of cards. Contains 2 player mats, a nemesis, a track, and token sheet. Do not use those until we're instructed to do so. So let's go ahead and get started with setup. So our story starts, Expedition Prologue. So you finish your report to the council. A panicked young breachmaids burst in. He speaks quickly, stumbling over his words in a panic. Slowly, Inko. What's wrong, Brahma asks. Leaves wilt. Plants are no more than carrion. The decay is coming. Inko has always had a special sensitivity and control over plants. What is causing this, Inko? How can we stop it, Brahma asks. It's far away, but a nameless is coming, wilting everything in its wake, he replies. Thank you, Inko. This recently returned team is ready to be dispatched. If it comes too close, Brahma turns back towards the council. It moves too quickly. There is no if. We will not rush into danger. Inko scowls and turns to leave. Hold on, Inky. Talix, who adopted Inko years ago when he found him in the forest, kneels and messes Inko's hair. Trust us, we're your family. We'll keep you safe. Inko sighs and leaves with one final remark. When the sun rises again, I will leave no matter what. In the morning, you go to Talix and Inko's home. A pleading Inko approaches you. Where have you been? Help me find her, please. He paces anxiously for a moment longer and then turns to you. While the sun slept, I told Razra of the infection that threatens us. Now she and Rip have vanished. As he gestures, you notice the plants around him sway and grow. Inko is the only mage you know who can control plants in this way. We've been practicing breach magic together since I arrived here. She is stubborn, very, very stubborn. Help me find her, Inko. Inko thrusts a note in your face. Dear Inko, catch up if you can. Rip and I will fix the crops before you even arrive. Now, not only do you need to find whatever is killing the plants, but you must also rein in the headstrong young breach mage, Razra. Plants will guide me to her, Inko says as he rushes out of Gravehold, leaving you to catch up. So using our expedition rules, we'll add cards ITW 4 through 15 and the player mat for Inko to the barracks. So we've got Inko here. He's Child of Green. His ability is Massive Growth. Activate during your main phase. Cast any number of Rose Thorns prepped by any number of players. Those spells deal 2 additional damage. Complexity rating of 4. We set aside all the Rose Thorn cards. These form the Rose Thorn deck. This is not a supply pile. Cards in the deck can only be gained using Inko's Verdant Emerald. Additionally, Inko may spend 2 ether to gain a card from his deck. And we've got some flavor text for him. Then we've got his Emerald. Gain an ether or gain a Rose Thorn from the Rose Thorn deck. Place that card on top of any player's discard pile. We've got 2 of those. Then we have his Rose Thorn, which is a spell. Cast, deal 2 damage. You may return this to the Rose Thorn deck. So you've never seen Inko bring such growth. You watch in fascination as the surrounding plants sprout to life behind him. After New Gravehold has been out of sight for some time, you realize just how dire the situation is. Council is wrong to wait. Inko's path stands in stark contrast to death all around you. His eyes soften with relief each time he rejuvenates a nearby dying tree. He revives what he can, but is only a fraction of all the endangered plants. He swats at swarms of buzzing insects drawn by the decaying plants while following deeper into the dying vegetation. We will find Razra on this path. As he says her name, a mass of colorful flowers bloom around Inko's feet, oddly hopeful against your bleak surroundings. Suddenly you stop, engulfed in silence. When did it get so quiet? The droning insects are going. A heavy thudding shakes the ground. Whatever it is, it's big and has friends. Your team opens breaches and prepares for battle. So draw a nemesis from the Battle 1 deck, and then fight that nemesis. So I'm just going to go in this with Inko. So to add cards to our supply, we'll take our gem randomizers, give them a quick shuffle, and then choose 3 of those. So we've got a Diamond Cluster, gain 2 Ether. If this is the second time you have played Diamond Cluster this turn, gain an additional 2. Frozen Magmite, gain 2 Ether. You may place the next card you gain this turn on top of your deck. And Alien Element, gain 1 Ether. For each of your breaches with a spell prep to it, gain an additional Ether. And then for relics, we're going to get 2 out of this stack. So we've got Riddle Sphere, gain a charge, or you may lose 2 charges. If you do, gain 5 Ether. And a Blasting Staff. May cast a prep spell that you prep this turn. If you do, that spell deals 2 additional damage. And then we'll go through our spell randomizers. We're going to get 4 from here. So I'll just make a couple cuts and see what we get. Stunning Force, a Breach Seeker, Ignite, and Tethered Darts. So the darts cast deal 2 damage. If this was cast from an open 3 or 4 breach, you may place this into any ally's hand. Ignite, deal 2 damage. Any ally gains a charge. Breach Seeker, Echo, deal 1 damage. Focus any ally's breach. And then Stunning Force, deal 4 damage to the Nemesis. Silence a minion. And then we need to find a Nemesis, which I think I have hiding inside this box. So for our basic Nemesis, we need to find a level 1 that we're going to start with. So we'll randomize these. And our first battle is going to be against Bladius. And just to finish setup, got Inko set up here. Player 1, 10 health. His breach is set up to match his player board there. For his starting deck, we're going to have 4 crystals on top of his emerald. And we start with 3 crystals, a spark, and an emerald. Gravehold at 30 health. Our turn order deck is going to have 4 cards for us and 2 for the Nemesis. So go ahead and give that a shuffle. And I've already done our Nemesis deck. So we've got the basics for Bladius, plus 1 for tier 1, 3 for 2, and 7 for tier 3 in there. And for him, setup was rather easy. There is none. It's a level 1, so hopefully I can get through this. Unleash ability, player with the fewest open breaches suffers 2 damage, so that's always going to be us. Additional rules, if he would draw a card and cannot, it escapes and the players lose. So we have to take him out. So turn 1 goes to us. We're going to go ahead and prep a spark. Go ahead and use this for the Ore ability. Gain a Rosethorn from the Rosethorn deck. Place that card on top of any player's discard pile. Then we'll play our 3 gems, giving us 3 ether. And we'll go for some Frozen Magmite. End our turn, drawing 5. Next will be us again, drawing First Blood. 1 damage, 39 to go. Go ahead and use this to get another Rosethorn. And play these for 4 ether, and go ahead and open our breach, I think is what we want to do. Next turn goes to the Nemesis. Starting out with a lunge, Gravehold suffers 4 damage. Any player discards a card in hand. Down to 26. And we'll go ahead and discard a crystal. Next turn is us. We'll prep our rose thorn out. Gain another rose thorn. We'll play these, getting us 3 ether, and the next card we gain this turn can go on top of our deck. We'll go for another round of money. Discard and 5. Next turn is the Nemesis. So we're getting a parry. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Any player discards a prep spell. All right, I guess that's going to be us. And lastly, we get to go. We're going to prep 2 spells. We've got 4 money. Next card we purchase can go on top. We'll go with an Ignite. Discard down. Got 5 cards here. And it's time to shuffle for the next round. So 1 damage on Bladius. We've come out unscathed, but Gravehold's taken 6. And we're going to start with us going. We're going to go 2 and 1 damage, so total of 3, down to 36. Prep a spell. Go ahead and get another thorn. And then with 3 money, we'll go ahead and focus a breach. End our turn. Nemesis goes. All right, a Chaos Orb. Need to spend 6 money, power 3, unleash, Gravehold suffers 4 damage. Next turn, Nemesis again. Remove a token there. Now Bladius attacks. If you're playing with 1 player, banish the top 5 cards of the Nemesis deck. Place the banished cards in the banished card section of the box. Place this card in a discard pile, then draw a new Nemesis card. All right, so we're getting rid of 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And drawing another one. Unleash. All right, so the player with the fused open breaches suffers 2. And the players collectively discard 3 cards in hand. All right, well, this is what we've got. We'll discard those, keeping these 2. And it's our turn, dealing 2 damage, and an ally gains a charge. And since we're playing solo, we count as our own ally. Down to 34. We're going to grab another thorn. And prep a thorn. Next turn is going to be us. 2 damage. All right, we've got 4 money. Next card we buy, we can put on top. These type of cards do concern me. So we will go with another one of these. And prep 2 spells. Deal 2 and 2 damage, so down to 28. We'll go ahead and gain another thorn. Three money here. We'll go ahead and focus. Prep 2 spells. Drawing 2 crystals. So here comes our money round. All right, round 2 is done. We're down to 8 health. It's down to 28, and Gravehold is at 24. And we're starting with the Nemesis. Removing a token there. And it Doom Aegis. Now we need to spend 7 money. Got 1 turn to deal with this. Player with the most charges suffers 4 damage and loses all their charges. And next turn is going to be us. So 1, 2, and 3 damage, down to 25. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can spend that to discard the Chaos Orb. And our next turn is going to be us. We're going to go ahead and use this for the 3 money. Open up our level 3 breach. And prep out some spells. We get to go again. Deal 2 damage and gain a charge. 2 more damage and 2 more, so that's 6, down to 19. Play these for 2 money. Get a charge. Prep out our spells. There's 3. We need 2 more here. We get to go again. So 2, 4, and 6 damage, down to 13. We'll prep 2 spells. We're going to play these out for 4 money. Use that to get 2 charges here. Then use our ability. Cast any number of Rose Thorns prepped by any number of players. Those spells deal 2 additional damage. So this is going to deal 4. Taking it down to 9. Ending our turn. We got a money hand coming up. But Nemesis is going to go. Which worked out well for us. Player with the most charges suffers 4 damage and loses all their charges. So we have none. Still considered the most. So we are taking 4 damage. So down to 4 health. No charges to lose. Next card, Flying Guillotine. Spend 8 money. 2 turns, Gravehold's going to suffer 6 damage. And another turn down. We have Gladius down to 9 health. Gravehold's at 24, and we are at a mere 4. We're just pinging him for 2 damage every round here with our Rose Thorns. And he is going to go first. So we've got Unleash twice. The player with the most expensive prep spell discards that spell. Next will be us, pinging for 1 damage, down to 8. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 money. We're going to get Stunning Force, and we are allowed to put that on top of our deck. Next turn will be us. We will prep a lot of spells. Use this to get another thorn. Use this to get 2 money and go ahead and get a charge with that. So 3 cards there. And another 2. Next turn is us. And with that, 4, 5, 6, and 8 damage. So Bladius has been defeated. Our level 1 monster is down. So we're in Battle 1 conclusion. With your hard-fought battle over, you rest uneasily knowing that Razra is still out there somewhere, potentially fighting Nameless just like this one, with only Rip at her side. While resting, you notice several strange glyphs in the area. Reflecting on the fight, you realize these glyphs seem to trap the Nameless. It was clearly drawn to them against its will. Making and maintaining Nameless attacking glyphs cannot be an easy task. They must require a massive amount of ether to maintain. The glyphs complicate your mission even more. You need to find Razra, share information, and come up with a plan. Come, move your roots, Inko says as he hurries back to the path. Finding the glyphs has unnerved him. As you follow, a plant's branch tunnels directly into the dirt below his feet. You jump over a root that's suddenly grown in front of you. A tree collapses as its branches grow massive while its trunk remains the same. You hang back a safe distance as Inko leaves more and more chaos in his wake. So intent on the mission, Inko is obviously to the massive lopsided growth he has subconsciously created. Suddenly, he motions you to stop and be silent. Just ahead, you see a gouge in the earth filled with ash, its edges charred. As you peer through the tall brush, you see several cloaked figures laying on the ground. No one is moving. After waiting several minutes, tense and ready for another fight, Inko parts the brush with his hand and walks into the clearing. The bodies strewn about are followers of Zaxos. The scarred landscape indicates a recent battle. As you search the area, you spot valuable artifacts imbued with a strange energy. On closer inspection, you realize the artifacts belong to mages of New Gravehold. As you're collecting them, Razra's animal companion, Rip, stumbles into the clearing, bleeding and whimpering. Inko rushes to embrace his lost friend. The large, sleek, metallic creature nuzzles Inko. After their quick reunion, Rip dashes away and then stops and turns, waiting for you to follow. So we're going to add cards 19 through 23 to our barracks using the expedition rules. Add player cards to your barracks. And then read 24. So we've got a good selection of treasure cards here. Gain 2 ether that cannot be used to gain a relic or spell. Gain 1 ether, you may cast a spell in hand that costs 4 or less. While prepped, when you suffer damage, gain a charge. Cast, deal a damage. Gain an ether, any ally may prep a spell in hand to their open or closed breaches. And while prepped, when you focus or open one of your breaches during your turn, deal 1 damage, and on cast, deal a damage. So Battle 2 Introduction. You struggle to keep up with the re-energized Inko and Rip. Swaying limbs of willows gently part and collide in the breeze, as if to guide you. Something in the grove holds fearsome power. What if Razra was overcome in this stifling place? Walking along, you catch a glimpse of a carving in a trunk of a tree through the willows. You briefly pause and notice it's similar to the glyphs you saw after defeating the last Nameless. Deep in thought, you barely notice the wind pick up and thrumming begin. As you feel the familiar crackle of breach energy in the air, you pivot around and around, trying to identify where the attack will come from. Suddenly, a fearsome Nameless emerges from the nearby brush. You can unravel the mystery of this place later. Filled with adrenaline, you and Inko have only a moment to prepare for battle. Through clenched teeth, you prepare your first spell. To our Nemesis from Battle 2 deck, fight the Nemesis using the expedition rules. Well, that will finish our playthrough for this battle. But for the next battle, let's see who we'll be facing. We'll be going off against the Crooked Mask. So hope you enjoyed this playthrough, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.